So you're thinking about relocating to the Pacific Northwest and you are managing inflation just like everyone else. Today's video is gonna be just for you because it is our 2025 cost of living video, and we are gonna break down everything you need to know about how much it costs to live here. We're gonna roll through property taxes, utilities, gas, lifestyle, restaurants, everything you need to know, and I'm also gonna bust out my very own bills and roll through these with you. So excited to share this with you. There's gonna be tons of tips, tons of information, all specific to 2025. So let's get right into it. So when it comes to gas, as you can see behind me, we're pumping here at about $3.99 a gallon. That's for regular unleaded. Now, you can do the Costco trick where you're going in on the Saturday, Sunday, the lines are super long, and save about 20 cents a gallon. But the tip to know on gasoline is within Multnomah County, you're gonna pay approximately a 10-cent per gallon local county tax. So it's important to know that. You're gonna buy it in the city, a little more expensive. I see a nice range between $3.75 and $3.99 right now. Once again, you wanna go to Kroger, you wanna go to Costco and save 20 cents a gallon, that's a great way to go as well. Now, an even more important cost when it comes to vehicles is insurance. Now, we all know the bundle and save method, discount, can I get a hot tub, State Farm, Progressive. But what I've noticed a lot, everybody, is individuals who have claims, whether on your auto or your home, are really unfortunately getting dinged and dropped, actually. So when it comes to homeowners insurance out here in the Pacific Northwest, you actually see quite a bit of a lower cost compared to other areas of the country, such as Colorado, Texas, Florida, and the East Coast, mainly because we have less natural disasters. Now, the asterisk on all of that is condition of the home. So newer properties are gonna have a way more affordable annual and monthly premium. Now, for example, we just had a client got into contract on a near $700,000 new construction home. The premium for that property is very, very cheap. It was $44.50 per month, and that's really, really low. Usually I would estimate about 90 to 100 for a brand new home like that. Now get this, my wife and I, we bought our brand new home about 6 years ago, and our starting premium was similar to that, probably $65 a month, but then it escalated up to about 110 over the span of about 5 years. So as the home gets older, the mechanics age, the roof ages, and the premiums get more expensive because it's risk-based pricing. Now, older homes are a totally different subject. There's a lot of situations where you might be looking at two homes, the exact same price, the exact same year, but one home might have an updated roof and the other might have a very old roof. Those homes I've noticed are getting dramatically different premium pricings. So you can see those go up to $125, $150, $175. And if you have a claim, I'm definitely gonna dive a little bit deeper into the history and connect you with our trusted insurance agents to see what we can do in regards to getting you the absolute best deal on that premium. So a lot to pack in there, but I think it's really important to know overall we're cheaper to insure here than most states in the United States, but you can pick a home that is dramatically more expensive than the other one, even though they're the same price. And this is why, once again, everyone, our team understands how to work this game when it comes to relocation. So one trick that we have is we get premium estimates on the property before you offer and before you get their inspection. This way you know, you understand what the true costs are. And that's what we're all about with our team. We're all about giving you all the information to reduce that anxiety and prevent any sort of blindsides. So if you haven't already, I'm looking forward to it. Give us a call, schedule with us. We want to hear your story and become a resource to you. because we have so many benefits that can make your experience relocating to the Pacific Northwest so much better, and I absolutely can't wait to hear your story. So when it comes to eating out and enjoying the lifestyle of the Pacific Northwest, this is one of my favorite spots, Matador. So it's a Mexican-inspired cuisine. What I like about it is it has happy hour. The happy hour deals are bonkers here. You got $5, $6 tapas plates, $5 well drinks, $6 beers and cocktails. Just an awesome place. However, if you're not a bargain hunter, which I think you might be going full retail, wine and dine. I will tell you, it is absolutely really expensive to eat in Portland. I'm not gonna lie to you. Two buckets. Number one, the food carts. A lot of people enjoy food carts. I love them, but I feel like food carts have gotten just as expensive as dining in a restaurant. So you're gonna see on a low end, $17 for an entree, all the way up to $25, $35, $45, $50. But it's become really, really hard to get a good deal on a traditional dining out experience. There's a couple reasons why. Number one, here in Oregon, we do pay our wait staff a minimum wage. So this increases the cost for the restaurant owner, and then you do tip on top of it too. I would say, you know, I like to tip 20+% if I get really, really good service. That's normal. I used to wait tables out of school. But I'm starting to feel a little more inclined to go toward the 15% if I'm getting the iPad swivel, take a number, clear your own table. But going back to the food carts are just as expensive now. I used to think they were a deal, but don't think that you're gonna budget friendly your way to the food cart scene, because those are anywhere from $12 all the way up to $20 just for a plate. Now, a lot of people like that experience and it's super cool and there's variety and different things, but I would say eating out is terribly expensive here. And I'm gonna blame it on just the West Coast. Not to get too off track, but it used to be a deal. It used to be cheaper than California when it came to eating out and dining, but I feel it's right there, and I hate to say it. California brought it up. The whole West Coast has definitely felt that inflation. Now, I would say one of the pros, if we're gonna be really try to give a vote for the Portland, Vancouver area, so one upside is there's not a city service tax. So I frequently go up to Seattle for work as well. The city of Seattle has a service tax. I think it's like 8 to 11% on top of the sales tax they have in the state of Washington. So it really adds up to being, you know, an extra 20% in tax up in Seattle when you're dining out, and then you got a tip on top of that. I even went to a restaurant that had an automatic 23% gratuity. Just no matter what, two people just sitting there, just freaking unreal. But yeah, Kristen and I, we only eat out on a very, very special occasion now. And we try to do a lot of cooking at home just to save money and not just, you know, be dining out all the time. But a lot of people love eating out, and there's incredible, incredible food here. You just gotta know what you're getting into when it comes to what it costs to eat in the Pacific Northwest. So on to some bigger bucket items, such as sales price and property taxes. Now, let's jump into property tax first, because there's some things that are really important to know about property tax. If you generally ask someone, hey, what are the property taxes out in the Pacific Northwest? I wanna ask you, well, what particular area you're talking about? Because you're gonna see dramatic different property tax analysis from each county. So for example, Portland, Multnomah County, they average about a 0.91% assessment. So rounding up, you're about 1%. $500,000 home, $5,000 per year, right? Now, you might be looking on Redfin and looking around, you're like, hey, that doesn't line up. I'm seeing less than that, Addie. I'm seeing half of that. Well, here's what happens. There are a lot of homes that people have been inside home ownership for a long time, and it hasn't been reassessed, and there's caps on how much the counties can raise the assessment year over year over year. Just note, when you purchase that home and we get you into that home, that'll be sweet when your payment's a little bit lower, but approximately 12 to 24 months later, the old tax assessor is gonna come and knocking. This happened to my sister and brother-in-law. We got them a home out in Oregon City, beautiful, beautiful home on 3 acres. and it had very low property taxes. It took about 2.5 years for the assessor to get out there and reassess it, and it was much closer to about the county limit of 0.7 to 0.8. So that's something to really understand too. And I think it's important to know when you go over on the Washington side, they have a slightly lower property tax assessment. I believe they're at about 0.8. You are gonna see lower property taxes on that side of the river, but the kicker to know with that, and this is stuff that we cover with you, is the excise tax. So when you are actually selling a home on the Washington side, you're paying over a 1%, I think it's a 1.5% sales tax on the sale of the home. Not a lot of people think about that, and that's something that we're gonna dive into on your visit and your relocation meeting. We're gonna talk about, hey, what's the long-term plan with things? Are you gonna stay in this home for 1 year? Are you gonna stay for 5 years? Are your kids graduating college? Are they living with you still? High school, retirement, all these things we're constantly adapting our plan, our strategy, and our value shares to you based on your plan. So, wow, the camera's bouncing all over the place. That's my gig with property taxes. Much better than a lot of different areas, or I help people in Texas, in Florida, certainly California. They're coming here for a cheaper lifestyle, and especially when it comes to home ownership, right in the middle for you. When it comes to buying a home, we're typically seeing a good entry-level budget of about 500 to 600K. Now, if you want your tier level 2, more than 3 bedrooms, more than 2 baths, you should be prepared at 650 all the way up to 850, depending on new construction, lot size, etc. Now, one of the biggest conundrums we see, I have this couple, they had a healthy budget up to 700K, but the tie was, hey, we really want a lot of yard, right? Well, the challenge is the newer builds up here don't necessarily have the biggest yard. They're usually split lots. So you have a much smaller backyard, side yard, front yard, if yard at all. Now, to some people, that's somebody's dream. My wife always tells me, hey, Addie, that's somebody's dream, don't forget. Some people don't want a big yard, but some people have kids and dogs and they really want some more space. The bigger yards are more expensive and the houses are older. And so we revert back to something newer for cost of living purposes, but the yard shrinks. So it becomes really challenging to find exactly what you want, but we know exactly the questions to ask, narrow down the location, the lifestyle, to create a plan for you and isolate those options into a much shorter list. We know all the builders, we know all the listing agents, we know all the areas. So I'm looking forward to chatting with you on our call about those details so we can make sure to hone in and you're not just like, oh my gosh, frantically looking around for a home that might or might not exist. Now, when it comes to $1 million plus, it becomes a whole different ballgame, because typically on $1 million plus, the heavy factors are gonna be school districts. So if you want your dollar to really stretch, the inner city part for $1 million is gonna go a lot further. Now, if you take that out to, say, top school districts, we've got Camas, Washington, Lake Oswego, West Lynn, a lot of the parts of Beaverton, the $1 million doesn't go as far. I would say most recently, beautiful new build we put together in the Camas area, approximately $1.3 million for a 5-bedroom, 3.5 bath with a great view. Not a very big yard, because once again, it was new construction. But hopefully that gives you a little bit of a sense of price range. And we always tell people on the first call, is like, we're not looking for exact numbers. I always say, hey, we ain't pouring cement today, right? Give us a ballpark. We want to know, hey, what's kind of the range? If it's something regarding monthly payment comfort level, that's my lane. I have awesome charts and systems. We plug and play, have a casual, fun conversation, and get you dialed in with a really good strategy. Because what we don't want people to do when we hear other clients' experiences that don't work with us, what we hear a lot is, oh, well, you know, I set my budget at 700 and then all of a sudden really what they want, there's no chance unless they spend $1 million or 950. So we don't want that for you. And I know I'm pressing hard on this conversation because, or at least like the call to action for us, and it's not intentional to be salesy. It's more in the sense that like we have done like thousands of these Zoom calls, so we know how it is. And I've learned over being a part of every single one of these meetings is everybody's different. Everybody has a different lifestyle, whether they eat out or not. They're trying to downsize or upsize. They have college tuition or not. They're retiring or still working. They're commissioned or salaried. So a lot of the Q&A dials into the cost of the living. But the $1 million home, I would say schools would make that 20 to 30% more expensive. And if you're willing to be somewhere not dependent on the quality top schools, you'd see quite a significant discount and a deal for your dollar. So I'm gonna dive into utilities and those stacks of bills in just a minute, but real quick right behind me, we gotta talk about groceries. Everyone's gotta eat, everyone's got a family and a grocery run. Now you've got a couple different options. You've got New Seasons, which is right behind me. That's probably one of the most preferred, if not Whole Foods or Trader Joe's out in the Pacific Northwest. Do a walkthrough and a swing by to show you some of the prices of those. Now, if you're a budget grocery shopper, the places then to go are Kroger, and then after that, you could look at Safeway, Winco, which is even cheaper, and then Grocery Outlet. But another thing to know too, Oregon, no sales tax. Washington, they've got that sales tax. So people in Washington often come over to do their Costco runs. And last little tidbit too, bottle return. Oregon has a 10% deposit, one of only 2 states that has a 10-cent deposit. I think the other one's Michigan. So all these bottles, an extra 10 cents each, just something to know. Okay, so for the final segment of the video, we're gonna roll through my personal bills. Now these personal bills are mostly utility, but they're gonna give us some nice perspective on what to expect for your housing costs. So out here in the Pacific Northwest, specifically Portland Metro, your electrical is usually ran through one company, and it's PGE, Portland General Electric. Now we have a newer home, it's about 6 years old, and we are averaging $158 per month for electricity. Now, I think it's important to know we have a tankless water heater, so we run a little bit less electricity. Now you're gonna see, oh, also, our home is approximately 1,800 square feet, 2-level, and a single car garage. I think that's important to know. Our efficiency rate is, I think, a 9 or a 10. It's really, really high because it's all energy efficient appliances, tankless water heater, double pane windows. We have window coverings. All of those things play a really, really big factor on your electricity, how much light's coming into the home. Not here in the Pacific Northwest, as we are surrounded by beauty with massive elevation changes and beautiful Douglas fir trees. It can be quite the variable when it comes to cost of electricity. You get light, you don't get light, higher, more. Square footage is a big one. There's a lot of people out there who have 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 square feet, so expect double. Now, let's just use general math. 1,800 square feet, $150 a month. Well, you double that, you double the cost there. So 3,000 to 3,500 square feet could cost you $300 to $400. If you don't have an energy efficient home, expect 10 to 30% increase on that cost. So that can be a big one. The other one is Northwestern gas. Get that wrong side. Boop. Northwestern natural gas. So we actually have a gas-powered fireplace, which is really, really awesome because in the winter, we don't need to heat the entire house as much. We can depend on the gas fireplace. As well, we have plumbed out a gas line to our patio for barbecue, so we don't have to deal with the blue rhino, which I absolutely love. I think that is just an incredible, incredible thing. Now, the biggest utility is, especially in Multnomah, is water. So I'm averaging about $340 per quarter, so divide that by 3. Let's call it $80 to $100 a month for water. Now, it gets really expensive if you have more people running water, because it's just myself, Kristen, and our little puppers who's only 8 pounds, he doesn't require much water. His water dish is like this big. But if you get a family of 4, 5, 6, 7, all taking showers, all doing laundry all the time, you would likely expect to see that water bill double. And what kind of drives me absolutely bonkers, at least in Multnomah County, is they pad a massive amount of taxes in that water bill. It is absolutely insane how many of these. I think it's probably 40 to 50%. Yeah, it is insane. So if you're in Washington County, Clark County, Clackamas County, you're gonna see a slightly cheaper water bill than Multnomah County. Now, my only other tip is you will get a ton of requests to go energy efficient. What do I mean by that? Well, we use a smart thermostat, and that does help us. At one point, I did the energy efficient timing, and I absolutely hated it because it took control of when I could use my AC and I couldn't. Someone that's born and raised here, I couldn't even imagine not having AC. The hot days, we maybe get a string of 7 to 14 days that get above 90 degrees, and I don't know how people do it. There's some homes that don't have AC and they literally just like live on their front lawn till the evening, and I just couldn't do it. The energy efficient would shut down your ability to use AC during the very high usage hours, which I absolutely hated, did not enjoy that. A tip though, another tip on water would be irrigation systems. So out here in Portland, a high majority of people don't even water their plants or their grass in the summer. They just let it die just to save money. Now for us, we really love gardening and plants indoors and outdoors, but what saved us a significant amount of money was actually a self-installed drip irrigation system. So I highly recommend looking into that. It's some effort up front. You can buy kits on Amazon. You can get the smart switcher from Home Depot or Amazon, and it all can be controlled from your phone. But at least that way you are just bubble dripping the plants in the specific areas and not doing a full-on sprinkler. That saved us a ton of money. And other smart devices for electricity and putting things on timers with Google Homes, all adds up and all saves. And in this day and age with inflation, every dollar counts, and it coincides with our theme as a team supporting you, which we want to get you the absolute best deal, the absolute best home for you at the best price, and that's what we specialize in. So if you are in the market and planning to relocate and haven't set a time to chat with us, please reach out, hit us with a text or an email, and I sincerely cannot wait to meet you and hear your story. So till next time, folks, check out one of these videos.